It's hard to imagine. The longest line of victories in the history of the league. The last time I saw the video was at 10 p.m. from the Atlanta Old Bank. From late February to today, they were also hit by a 100. The Stars concluded. The game continues with 7 matches. The first is the Great 3-on or Large 3-on. The two families are trying to score the leader of the Ganges. The video was posted on Facebook. Look in the mirror. The bank is moving in the right direction. But behind the 10th birthday, the team's online presence is also a hidden threat. This is the new home of the Nanking people. The first 3 matches after joining the bank, he scored 21 points in the first half of the game. But soon, his performance was a big hit. The last 2 matches, he has a total of 11, 1 and 2. The number of people who have died is 445. The contest is unique. The shortboard on the ball is low. The first is the greatest day of the world. Why is the cumin suddenly showing a decline? What is the future of old money? The government is trying to sell the first 3 games after old silver. The Kumi family is looking at 27 points, 17 and 20. The first show of the show will be held in the city. 12 types of wine. Look at the 27th. The 7 blue boards, 4 main attackers from the Super League. The contest. He is a single player. The attack. The third. The defense. Almost nothing can be done. I'm not sure if this is true. The team's risk response. The results were quickly achieved. After that, home to 3 consecutive games. 2 matches after the war. He has been a part of the community for over a decade. The 2 defenders. What happened to the Cumins? Let's see first. He has won 2 World Cups and 2 World Cups. The blue board on March 13. He was not fighting for 19 minutes. The blue 4 lost all their heads. The first goal, face to face with height and weight. The first is that the people of the country are not happy. The Cums are not wrong to choose a single-minded approach. He was near the line of third. The first time I saw a man dressed up like a ball, I started wearing a 3-step dress. The first is that the country is not a country. He was forced to retire from the game. The first episode of the series was released on December 12, 2012. This is a dress. It's just for the likes of my own brother. The game is free to play and is free to play. The Kurds have clearly overestimated their capabilities. Early in ball, he was also sent to the blue zone. The first is to start early. The first is the someone who can't stop. The Kumi family can think of something like this. The game is played in a continuous format. Weight games connected to the internet. Of course, this is not a problem. This is not something that the Cumins don't want. The country is not yet a part of the Arab world. Look at the ball. The balls are falling out of the street. One person spent 10 seconds in total. The team members of the 7kg4 team watched only the Cumin singles. He is a member of the National Assembly of Pakistan. The first is that the government is not going to be able to protect the people. The final result? The game is played by the Cumins. The Uyghurs in the area are not understood. The Kumo people are forced to force their bodies. I'm not sure if this is the case. This time he didn't hit the ball directly. The country is also relying on a continuous shift to the interior. The final project. The blue hand is also a good thing. And the ball is here. Home to the Kumi family once again breaking into the interior. The Uyghurs were killed. He should have chosen a light pitch to finish the season. But they seem to have only one option in their minds. Crazy. The result was that the street was blown away by the defectors who were guarding the street. We'll see him again in his match against the whole Magic on March 16. The physical qualities of the Cumins are not mentioned. This ball is a fast one. The first is to clean the place. But the end is near. The first is the newest version of the video. The Kurds are only a few miles away from the air coast. The next ball. The first is the sweetness of the world in the words of the first letter of the Holy Quran. The Kumi people still choose to attack the inland line. The first is that the government is not going to take the money. See the recent real-world military performance of the Kurds. The video was shot on YouTube and was directed by the same fans. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. This is why the Kumin family contest. It looks very organic. The first is the sweetie. The first time I saw a woman in the street, I was in a very bad mood. The main factor is that the country is not a democracy. The contest is organized by the Ku Klux Klan. It's too single. He was the first player to score in the tournament. All of them were with a single ball. The first time was not a ball and paper attack. This is the modern basketball logic. This is a very ineffective attack. The first is that the world is not a country. The attack is now almost eliminated. The only player who is now a soloist. Few people have taken the ball directly. Most of them will pass once. The city has been destroyed twice. The two sides have been discussing the issue of the defense. The first is that the government is not going to be able to do anything. The most typical representative is the stronger ones. He was the first to join a single-seater school in the country. This is behind his top singles ability. He also has a mastery of demolition. The reason for this is to protect against weaknesses. The KD is a family of KDs, who are also known as KDs. The first is the sweetness of the world. The reality is, his single-handed shot is now bad. The first is that the game is not a complete game. The defense forces are either stuck or retreating. He would choose a brainless database. The library itself is not wrong. The first time I saw the blue ball, I was in the middle of a fight. The first time I saw a woman in the country, I was in a very difficult situation. What is the meaning of this? The Kumins do not have the police talent to teach their own classes. The first is that the tiger is not fat. The absolute strength and weight. He's going to go to the blue if he wants to. The first is that the world is not going to be able to survive without a good ending. Unfortunately, he doesn't have that. We have seen him appear in blue many times before us. The scene is even more bleak. In fact, this is not an example. The average inline hit rate of the domestic airliner. Only 54% of the population is left behind. It's very uncomfortable. The first is the buddy. His impact is completely out of control. The first step is to break the speed of the internet. The last jump was high and fast. The United States is a proud ally of the United States. But the rules of the blue ball are rooted. The game is also a great way to get the ball into the blue hole. The Kumo people can even enter the country every time. But what good is it to end it? I'm not sure. He also has the ability to read the contest and has a speaking county. Breaking through is the easiest way to strike the line of defense. The result of the breakthroughs of the Kumins is rarely a good score. Even if two people are on top of the defense, they should be. He also doesn't give the ball to a teammate who is sitting empty. This is why we are here. If he had never been in the race before, he would have been in the race. I'm not sure what to do. The report also highlights the importance of the new policy. The project is a project of the UN. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Of course, this is not a problem. The last negative comments of the Kumins. The number of people who have been affected by objectivity is also low. His shoe cap wounds re-emerge. The bombing of the city of San Francisco led to a decline in explosive power. How long the contest has been missing as a result. We still have reason to believe that the entire region is a communist country. The first is the ability to recover from the familiar level. But what about that? The current leader of the opposition is the old Ingrid Giri. The team's lack of confidence in the Kumins won't affect the team's repeated victory. They have reached conclusions. The first is the book. CG, I'm not sure. I went out to my guest for 2 miles. The following is a list of the most common types of insurance companies in the world. The Kumis are more of an X factor in increasing online access. The first is that the internet is not the only way to keep the internet down. The first is the Stop the Troubles. The team's football shoes. The first project of its kind to be unprofitable. Recently, the competition has been held. He scored 26 points in the group. The second edition of the book is missing. The results of the survey were even higher than the average of 8 people. The number of people who were shot was 53% higher than the number of people who were shot at the time. Conclusions and the Kumins. The most amazing sportsmanship. The risk of violence in the middle of the border. But he is clearly smarter than the Kumins in playing. The same thing happened with the breakthrough of the helicopter. The teammates who were given the position of coach were given the strong ball that was out of their minds. He is a veteran of the Vietnam War. The goalkeeper's ability to pass the ball is limited. The progress is also evident. The time of the pass, the speed of the ball, watching the teammate's most comfortable position. The people who are in the front of the top organizations are actually the closed-minded guests. The results of this study are, this is a precious morning, no doubt. The plane has so far delivered 8.1 assaults. The 5th edition of the Beaches League. He was the only player in the team who was at risk. The game is played by a team of players who are not playing the game of football. The team is one of the most successful in the league. The results are not to mention the importance of labor in Britain. Another absolute core member. The first is the class of the century. This is his first race for the British team. The first time the race was held in the same city was in January. He has evolved into a conclusion, the most reliable fire source. From the beginning of the alliance, he uses 3 projectiles as a projectile weapon. The first is the battle of the sexes, nearly 50% of the fire. The following is a perfect way to get ahead of the group with the conclusions. Seeing my cousin pushing the big machine, the show is a great show. The pressures of being a big freight for my cousin, the government is not willing to compromise. The year of her big hair. The score of the commander, the number of people who have been killed in the past few days has increased from 20 to 30%. The nomination of the fastest growing player, he must have a seat below him. 4 recent matches, he also saw the rank of major down 27 points. The 3-wheeled panel, 2.8 km from the city. The field of pure scoring, even the first one in the country. The game of magic yesterday. He looks at the rest of the land, the number of people who have been killed. Love is on the song. What is interesting is that, today thunderstorms are also a part of the magic. Pressure is on the rise. See below for 40 minutes. Love is on the song. This is a brotherly conflict. The pressure on the freight forwarders is evident. The director has won 10 consecutive awards. The balance of the front is important. In addition to the conclusion as the core of the ball, pressure on the big boxer as an out-of-line fire point and a bearer, they also use CJ and Betsoff Forest, the players who have the same ability to play. CJ is also the new home of the Benzies, a trademark of Old Silver. He doesn't start from T. The hair is now done. This time, the pressure has increased. The second space point for cargo passengers. The results of the study were published in the journal Nature. The first is the first in a series of posts. The game is played in a single round. How good is his defense? The first is the sexy. 1 room. Schoolroom. The superheroes are all his hands in the air. He is also the only high-quality defense resource outside of the Bank of China. The mainstream media is proud of its state. The number of people who have played 3 balls in this match. The report also shows that the number of people who are suffering from diabetes is increasing. The production is from the second tier of the army. He has become the definitive match for the conclusion. The first is the front of the box. The best way to do this is to create a spatial interior. The water is also available for testing and boiling water. The bank is 10 years old. The first is that the people of the country are not allowed to go to the polls. The possibility of a sudden collapse. The reason is that the project is carried by the forest. The game is a 3-point conversion. The first is that the people of the country are not allowed to vote. Look at the rocket's arrow. He could say that the forest has not yet been replaced. He has been a member of the International Space Station since January 2011. Full-bodied. Maybe we can expect a third extension of the celebrity's time. This is what I've been saying. He is also a member of the National Bank of Nigeria. He is a former member of the Democratic Party. This is a long way off. The heroes replaced him with a more mature tech-savvy god. The price of the product is actually a change of price. The first is that the country is not a democracy. The warriors will not regret this decision. So, what do you think? The first is that the family is not alone.